2018 Mercedes-Benz E-Class Estate Review. The good points of Mercedes-Benz E-Class Estate: capacious interior, elegant styling, cabin's wow factor, comfort levels. The bad points of Mercedes-Benz E-Class Estate: limited engine range, handling doesn't excite, expensive options. 6 generations on, and also the Mercedes-Benz E-Class Estate will continue to set the conventional for combining capaciousness, comfort and space inside premium wagon segment. Based for the excellent E-Class saloon launched at the beginning of 2016, the transformation into estate guise is usually a graceful one, the softly tapering tail impinging negligibly for the cargo space within its shapely rear. While it's not nearly the largest estate car currently discounted, the Peugeot 308 SW and Skoda Superb Estate both trump it. The Mercedes nevertheless offers much more carrying capacity than its direct rivals inside the form in the Audi A6 Avant, the BMW 5 Series Touring, Jaguar XF Sportback along with the Volvo V90. Mercedes' joker is the fact from the conclusion of 2016 it reintroduced its age-old use of 2 rear-facing child seats from the boot, turning the E-Class Estate into an intermittent 7-seater. For a lot of this could be the right antithesis to gargantuan SUVs. Spacious and laden with technology. In normal 5-seater mode, the E-Class Estate offers 640 liters of plush light-trimmed boot capacity, but this could be increased to your tune of 30 liters by just making the 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split rear seat backrest 10 degrees more vertical. Folding the seats completely over inside their virtually flat position is completed simply with controls from the boot, liberating as much as 1,820 liters of volume inside the process. While it's clear Mercedes hasn't lost its cargo carrying expertise, the most recent E-Class also showcases high of the technological advancements the firm in addition has established its reputation upon. They start before you even get from the car, securely link the right smartphone and you park the E-Class remotely and lock and unlock it by just holding your device next to your door handle. Place the phone within the wireless charging point inside center console and that's enough, permitting the Mercedes to begin. There's a raft of features in the Driving Assistance Plus package, including Drive Pilot that's almost able to driving the auto for you, but don't forget legally you're still responsible for what the auto does. Turn the computer on and it'll automatically raise or lower its speed for the way quickly other vehicles are driving and the legal limits are. Additionally, it'll steer itself relating to the white lines. Overtaking maneuvers on dual carriageways and motorways are just actioned by holding the indicator for just 2 seconds, the steering covers itself. Engine range expanding after launch. The majority of Mercedes E-Class estates purchased from Britain over the past few years have been diesel-powered, hence why due to this generation the first lineup only included one petrol derivative. That was the Mercedes-AMG E43 Estate, efficient at reaching 62 miles per hour at a standstill within 4.7 seconds, turning it into the quickest in the estate range before the bruising E63 and E63S appeared during 2017, the second with its 0.62 miles per hour dash in 3.5 seconds because of a monster 612 horsepower V8 motor. Most customers will select the E220D, having a new 2.0-liter diesel serving up 194 horsepower yet claiming to go back 67.3 miles per gallon and emit just 109 gkm of CO2. It may be the entry-level power plant, but usually it offers a real sensible combination of performance and economy. It essentially becomes the default E-Class estate choice. Filling the gap may be the E350D, fitted having a 3.0-liter V6 and power up rated to 258 horsepower. It's quicker compared to the E220d. 0.62 miles per hour drops from 7.7 seconds to 6.2. In most instances you're unlikely to benefit from your extra urgency. The increased running costs won't escape your attention though. For those aiming to run in a class estate over a more modest budget, an E200d with 150 horsepower and CO2 emissions of just 109 GkM when discounted in late 2016. During 2017 Mercedes added the use of 4MATIC all-wheel drive for the E220d and E350d models. It's the first time a diesel E-Class continues to be given this option. Luxurious and well-appointed. It's not simply the engine range and that is restricted, the volume of different E-Class estate variants can be much narrower than Mercedes has offered in the past few years. The E200d, E220d and E350d come in SE and AMG line derivatives. As you move the Mercedes-AMG E43 and E63 are standalone models atop the stove. Whichever you end up picking, all contain the sportier grille design, while using UK not offered the regular design with all the three-pointed star mascots stood proud on the bonnet. All versions are high-licensed with LED lights back and front, and electric-operated tailgate, keyless starting, leather upholstery and 64 yes, 60 for different colors to the interior lighting. It's also worth looking at the extra-cost choice of the fully electronic instrumentation display. A Mercedes-AMG E63's Edition 1 derivative was unveiled to produce the top-spec performance model in April 2017, featuring bespoke paintwork and alloys together with sports seats and carbon fiber trim for that interior. The verdict. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate can be an admirable effort within an accomplished sector. It offers more choice than most rivals thanks towards the inclusion from the hot AMG models alongside cheaper diesels. There's no hybrid version yet, but it's fairly clear an E350e plug-in should follow soon to align with all the saloon lineup. Watch the complete Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate review how good this latest take for the premium estate in fact is. 3 economical diesel choices. AMG E43 and E63 for performance fans. E220d the pick from the range. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate was launched which has a narrow selection of engine options, but this became subsequently expanded to your far richer selection including some startling performance models within the Mercedes-AMG banner, namely the E63 and E63s. Whichever model you end up picking, a great 9-speed automatic gearbox can be your only transmission choice. Diesels dominate. For a substantial estate that's likely to end up used to haul heavy loads, tow caravans or simply just ply motorways efficiently, the low-down torquey nature of your diesel makes all the most sense here. Premium car customers frequently have a tendency to avoid the lower-powered engines for anxiety about looking like they're scrimping. In fact the E220d is actually the E-Class you're ever very likely to need. It's powered by the new 4-cylinder 2.0-liter diesel and replaces the aged 2.1-liter found across almost your entire Mercedes range. Not only is it stronger, quicker plus much more efficient, pleasingly it's significantly quieter too. Power of 194 horsepower helps deliver an unexpected 146 miles per hour top speed, while 400 Newton-meters of torque offered by just 1,600 revolutions per minute ensures the 0.62 miles per hour sprint is done in 7.7 seconds. A decade ago many a hot hatchback could have struggled to suit those figures. It's remarkably efficient too, having a claim of 67.3 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions just 109 GkM. Despite being less powerful, Having a total creation of 150 horsepower, the E200D that went for sale during the autumn of 2016 is slightly less efficient compared to the E220D at 65.7 miles per gallon, while efficiency also suffers. With a 0.62 miles per hour period of 8.7 seconds, the E200D may be the slowest from the range. If you fear how your neighbors will judge you, you may always hold the badging deleted through the tailgate. Or choose significantly pricier E350D. It's a brawnier 3.0-liter V6 unit, with power up to 258 horsepower, while torque jumps to 620 Nm, also from 1,600 revolutions per minute. Top speed is electronically governed to 155 miles per hour, even though the 0.62- is reduced in order to 6.2 seconds. It's much faster on paper, yet about the road the excess urgency rarely makes its presence felt. Needless to convey, it's less efficient. Official figures of 51.4 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 151 gkm tell their very own story. Roartier Mercedes-AMG E43. Under the bonnet is really a twin-turbocharged 3.0-liter V6 petrol engine producing 401 horsepower and 520 Nm of torque from 2,500 revolutions per minute, sufficient with an electronically limited 155 miles per hour top speed as well as a brisk 4.7-second 0.62 miles per hour time. It sounds purposeful enough, yet it doesn't result in the hairs around the back of the neck ascend to end within the way the V8 powerplant does. As while using diesels, the 9-speed automatic will be the only transmission option. Needless to express, for the more performance-focused model, efficiency suffers. Mercedes-AMG claims 32.5 miles per gallon average while CO2 emissions jump to 197 gkm. Hardcore Mercedes-AMG E63 and E63S. In May 2017, order books opened for that stupendously rapid E63 and E63S versions from the E-Klasse estate. They both make use of the 4.0-liter V8 twin-turbo petrol engine. The standard version has 571 horsepower and 750 Nm of torque for 0.62 miles per hour in 3.6 seconds, whilst the S gets 612 horsepower and 850 Nm for any 3.5-second dart to 62 miles per hour. Top speed on both is restricted to 155 miles per hour until you specify the AMG driver's package. Comfort continues to be the primary focus. Air body control suspension a wise option. Controlled rear drive characteristics. As is certainly the case with core Mercedes-Benz E-Class estates, comfort as an alternative to handling prowess would be the primary focus here. That's not to express the Mercedes was in any way incompetent, merely the BMW 5 Series Touring remains superior if you are looking to have an estate that handles which has a greater penetration of engagement. Because the Mercedes costs you from a great deal of the outside world to pay attention to luxury, there's less feel throughout the steering wheel. Event off, it weights up progressively at speed, assuming you're not letting the self-driving function do its thing. E200D and E220D versions ride on conventional steel springs. Even so, the optional air body control, standard on other E-Class estates, is worth taking into consideration. Its ability to absorb all manner of rocks and undulations is mightily impressive. That said, you could prefer sport over comfort mode, introducing a little firmness to lessen the floaty aspect from the ride. It also helps reduce body roll through bends. Sport Plus mode ups the notch a stage further, securing all in the E-Klasse estate's responses. However, the ride quality never becomes jarring. This one feels more in tune together with the E43 since you hustle it along broads. From launch exactly, the Mercedes-AMG E43 sported 4MATIC all-wheel drive, although in 2017 it absolutely was also rolled seam to E220d and E350d diesel models too, a first for that E-Class. The 4MATIC system retains a rear-wheel drive bias in normal circumstances and doubtless provides a greater degree of the reassurance of slippery conditions. However, the wealth of electronics up to speed prevent the normal E-Class getting too wayward anyway. S-Class mimicking interior superb. Feels as being a luxury car. Electronic instruments add further wow factor. Perhaps by far the most striking aspect on the Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate's interior is one much it seems like the uber-expensive S-Class limousine's cabin, notably if you upgrade the E220d's standard analog instrumentation pod with a pair of 12.3-inch customizable displays. They're supremely clear and are able to look impressive without needlessly showy. You can also specify an exceptional head-up display system projecting key information directly only towards the windscreen. At first glance, the trio of ones within the left and the steering column seem somewhat complex, and you soon adjust to them, because you do the automatic gear lever mounted within the opposite side. All-round visibility is fantastic, aided by large door mirrors as well as the optional 360-degree camera system for precision maneuvers in tighter spaces. Regardless of height, drivers shouldn't battle to achieve a perfect seating position either, that has a fine selection of adjustment of both seat and steering column. Spacious, comfortable cabin. Air suspension an advisable feature. Quiet interior, especially with double glazing. Few cars are bestowed with your inherent degrees of comfort as being the Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate. It barely loses anything seem to its saloon counterpart save for the slight echo through the cargo area when driving over particularly rutted or cobbled surfaces. We would highly recommend specifying the air body control adaptive suspension option on lower spec trims of E200d and E220d estates. It can be standard about the other models, for any sophisticated yet very comfortable ride quality. Being adaptive, you'll be able to adjust how firm your passengers prefer it, varying their education of body roll, too. The cabin itself is as luxurious as it truly is spacious, all models featuring soft leather seats along with a wide selection of adjustment with the front too. Rear seat passengers don't receive a raw deal either, with ample room for heads, legs and elbows, although inevitably the center passenger has less width for his or her posterior. From the tip of 2016, Mercedes made a set of occasional rear-facing child seats within the boot elective. These accommodate two kids approximately 115 centimeters tall and fold seamlessly away in the boot floor. You should definitely required. Those who've experienced the previous generation of E-Class estate will discover the new interior especially quiet, mostly courtesy on the new engine from the E200d and E220d, and that is appreciably less gruff compared to the motor toasted. Depending upon the model and options, your comfort are going to be boosted further by heated and ventilated seats, pneumatic lumbar adjustment, double glazing and, naturally, the self-driving function to scale back stress levels. S&AMG line trims for core range. Mercedes-AMG E43 sportiest in the meantime. Wide selection of personalization options. From its autumn 2016 debut, the E-Class estate lineup were only available in both S&AMG line trims, using the higher performance Mercedes-AMG E43 topping the lineup. While trim levels remained precisely the same, the high-performance Mercedes-AMG E63 and E63s were on the market to order from May 2017. Standard Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate equipment. Kicking the number off is a specification, which features Alloy wheels 17 inches for that E220D and 18s for that E350D. Air body control suspension E350D only. Dynamic select driving modes. An electric tailgate. LED lights front and back. Parking sensors and reversing camera. Chrome roof rails. Full leather interior. Garmin Sadanav E220D or Command Multimedia System E350D. Keyless starting. Cruise control. 64 interior LED lighting color options. Sails in this A as well as the AMG line that sits above it are required to be fairly equal. AMG line adds 19-inch alloys. Full AMG body kit. Darker interior theme. Black open-pore wood trim along with a dark headlining. Fake leather dashboard trim. There's little different concerning the exterior in the Mercedes-AMG E43 even though diamond pattern grille is usually a classy embellishment. It's the same story inside too, with red contrast stitching and similarly scarlet-colored seatbelts being the important thing changes, lending an 80s-style hot hatch vibe towards the cabin. At the highest end with their range sits the E63, getting AMG suspension in addition to 19-inch alloys, Napa leather upholstery and also the twin 12.3-inch screens optional further down the product range. Adding to this could be the E63S, which gets 20-inch wheels, active engine mounts, special sports seats as well as a bespoke tire. The E63S Edition 1 is really a limited-run launch model that gets extra body styling features. Mercedes-Benz E-Class Estate, optional extras. Depending about the chosen trim level, a range of additional features might be specified at extra expense, such as fully electronic instrumentation pack comprising of two 12.3-inch customizable displays. This really is standard on all barring the E200D and E220D. Mercedes also bundles several key options packages together to improve the value, and also customer take-up, of key extras. The premium pack upgrades the typical equipment rosters with keyless entry, automatic tailgate closing, a memory function with the driver's seat and also a toe-piece glass roof with opening front portion. Additionally, there's a Premium Plus pack adding a 13-speaker Burmester subwoofer and multi-beam LED headlamps composed of 84 separate elements towards the premium pack. Safety and comfort both are enhanced using the driving assistance pack having a raft of electronic monitoring systems including Drive Pilot, which combines adaptive cruise control using a lane-keeping function permitting a genuine leap forward in semi-autonomous driving compared to Mercedes' previous systems, bringing it on par with Tesla. One option growing families should consider could be the pair of occasional rear-facing child seats that stow away inside the boot floor. You should definitely required. Inevitably there's a glut of human options too much time to list throughout full, but including heated rear seats, upgraded climate control functions, a tremendously clear head-up display system along with a soft closing feature to steer clear of the doors from being slammed. One from the safest cars on discount sales. Self-driving function works reliably. Overtake without touching the wheel. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class scores 5 stars in Euro NCAP crash testing. As well as all-round airbags, LED lights back and front and a number of different electronic stability equipment, you may upgrade your class further together with the comprehensive Driving Assistance Plus package, including Mercedes' innovative Drive Pilot system. It's nearly a fully autonomous system, but it's much less far off, mainly because it accelerates and brakes depending on the speed limit and steers itself along clearly marked roads, with engineers claiming it functions almost as well on unmarked roads as typically found inside British countryside, something our testers go along with following testing on UK highways. The system further relieves the worries of motorway driving by having an overtaking function, support the indicator for 2 main seconds, and when the vehicle's checked its path is clear it's going to steer itself into your overtaking lane, returning towards the left whenever you indicate left. With cameras, sensors and monitoring equipment all over your vehicle, you have a significant amount of crash prevention technology protecting you. Bear in mind, from a legal perspective, you are always in control with the vehicle. 5 seats with choice to extend to 7. Huge boot, even when compared with direct rivals. Large footprint but shouldn't be near on impossible to park. Whether you contain the rear seats up or folded flat, practicality is in the heart of just what the Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate is all about. There's easily enough room for 4 adults, with 5 fitting for shorter journeys. Furthermore, as 2016, there's also the use of a 3rd row of seats for smaller children, making the E-Class estate an infrequent 7-seater. Elsewhere, the cabin's dotted with sensibly sized slots and lidded cubbies, including a big central bin beneath the armrest. Cores within this class are large vehicles which has a big footprint, but parking is created easier thanks to your inclusion of acoustic sensors and also a parking camera as standard on all models. Automatic parking is obtainable as an optional extra. At 640 liters up for the window line, the estate's cargo bay is 100 liters larger compared to E-Class saloons, but this is often increased by 30 liters by just having the rear seat backrest 30 degrees more upright. Instantly, the Audi A6 Avance 565-liter offering, as well as the boots from the BMW 5 Series Touring and Volvo V90, both at 560, look small in contrast. Tumble the 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split seat over, it folds virtually flat using the boot floor, and again the Mercedes leads the way with 1,820 liters, trouncing the Audi, BMW and Volvo with 1,680, 1,670 and 1,526 liters respectively. Cleverly, the luggage cover rises electrically and the rearmost pillars out in the way because the tailgate opens, along with the controls for folding above the seats are inside boot. Just be cautious about specifying one with the paler interior colors, as some in the test cars we sampled had boot carpet slider the nude dare have at your house. At 640 liters up on the window line, the estate's cargo bay is 100 liters larger compared to the E-Class saloons, but this is increased by 30 liters just by having the rear seat backrest 30 degrees more upright. Instantly, the Audi A6 Avance 565-liter offering and also the boots in the BMW 5 Series Touring and Volvo V90, both at 560, look small electrical systems. Tumble the 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split seat over, it folds virtually flat while using boot floor, and again the Mercedes leads the way with 1,820 liters, trouncing the Audi, BMW and Volvo with 1,680, 1,670 and 1,526 liters respectively. Cleverly, the luggage cover rises electrically and the rearmost pillars out on the way because the tailgate opens, as well as the controls for folding within the seats are within the boot. Just be careful of specifying one from the paler interior colors, as some on the test cars we sampled had boot carpet slider the nude dare have at your residence.